Elsa Schiaparelli, Story of Art, Fashion, and the Avant-Garde. Elsa Schiaparelli, a name that echoes with boldness, innovation, and sheer genius. The story of Elsa Schiaparelli is that of a woman with extraordinary artistic brilliance, one of the most iconic, influential, and visionary designers of the 20th century. Elsa Schiaparelli is a name that evokes the history of fashion between the two world wars and continues to shape trends to this day. A free spirit and a passionate traveler, Elsa loved life and adventure, and she infused that passion into every one of her creations. With an artistic soul and boundless creativity, she transformed the world of fashion, turning clothing and accessories into true works of art. Her designs, inspired by surrealism and dadaism, left an indelible mark, still influencing generations of designers. Elsa Schiaparelli represents more than haute couture. She is a symbol of innovation, artistic freedom, and futuristic vision. Hers is the story of an artist who broke all the rules, redefining femininity and bringing a new wave of boldness and freshness to a time of profound transformation. Get ready to dive into a story of limitless creativity, fierce determination, and an unstoppable love for art and fashion. Before diving into the extraordinary story of Elsa Schiaparelli, I invite you to subscribe to this YouTube channel, Quotes of Style. Here, you'll find the most fascinating and inspiring stories from the world of fashion, along with quotes that have defined eras and styles. Click the subscribe button and activate the notification bell so you won't miss any upcoming exclusive videos. Thank you. Now, let's dive into Elsa Schiaparelli's world and discover how her vision of fashion, the poetry in her details, and her entrepreneurial instinct shaped a unique style, leaving an indelible mark on fashion history. Born on September 10, 1890, in Rome, Elsa Schiaparelli came from a noble family of intellectuals. From a very young age, her life was a challenge. At just 6 years old, to respond to her mother, who constantly told her how ugly she was, Elsa came up with a peculiar idea to cover her face with flowers. She managed to get seeds from the gardener and placed them in her mouth, ears, and throat, believing that with warmth they would grow. Of course, her plan didn't work, but it already revealed an extraordinary imagination and an uncommon sense of determination. Little Elsa Schiaparelli quickly proved she wasn't the typical child of her time. She had a vivid imagination, dreaming of fantastical and distant worlds. Rather than playing with dolls, she preferred reading and writing poetry, growing up in an environment steeped in culture and knowledge, thanks to her parents and their influence. Elsa Schiaparelli had the privilege of growing up in a world that offered her countless opportunities to experience life. As Elsa Schiaparelli grew older, her interest in art grew stronger, and at just 21, she published a collection of poems, considered bold for the time, which gained moderate success, especially in France. This act of rebellion was not well received by her father, who decided to send her to a convent in Switzerland. However, her indomitable creativity and desire to explore the world couldn't be contained. 2 years later, Elsa Schiaparelli moved to London, ready to follow her destiny and leave an indelible mark on the history of fashion. During her time in London, Elsa Schiaparelli had the opportunity to live new experiences and meet fascinating people. At a theosophy lecture in 1913, she met Count William de Went de Kerleur, a theosophist and expert in esotericism. Their connection was immediate and deep, so much so that in 1914 they decided to marry, opening a new chapter in Elsa Schiaparelli's adventurous and creative life. In 1916, the young and deeply in love couple left London for New York after spending some time living in Nice. And it was in New York, in 1920, that Elsa and the Count welcomed their daughter Yvonne, affectionately nicknamed Gogo. However, their marital bliss didn't last long. After countless betrayals by the Count, Elsa Schiaparelli filed for divorce. Despite her broken heart, New York became a land of new opportunities for Elsa. She became close friends with Gaby Picabia, who introduced her to leading figures of the Dadaist movement like Marcel Duchamp and Man Ray. This period in America ignited her passion for art and fashion. Elsa would later say, "I had one thought fixed in my mind, to save myself from the monotony of drawing room life and bourgeois hypocrisy. People thought I was mad because of my avant-garde ideas. In 1922, after finalizing her divorce, Elsa Schiaparelli, supported by her friend Gabi Pacabia, moved to Paris with her daughter Gogo. By day, she worked in an antique shop, but it was in the French capital that Elsa fell head over heels with fashion. She became friends with Paul Poiret, one of the greatest couturiers of the time, and began to develop the creative instincts that would one day make her famous. This marked the beginning of a journey that would see her revolutionize the world of fashion with her bold and visionary spirit. Elsa Schiaparelli's career took off in 1927 with the creation of her iconic trompe-l'oeil sweaters, turning the humble knit into a piece of high fashion. Her designs quickly captured attention across Europe and the United States, sparking the interest of major department stores. Schiaparelli was a true pioneer. She understood the potential of ready-to-wear and mass production long before it became mainstream. She also introduced playful innovations like brightly colored zippers and whimsical buttons, forever transforming the landscape of fashion. Affectionately known as La Chiape by her French friends, Elsa Schiaparelli mastered the fusion of art and fashion throughout her career. In the 1920s and 1930s, she collaborated with members of the Parisian Avant-Garde to create true works of art. Her friendship with Salvador Dalí led to some of the most iconic pieces in fashion history, like the shoe hat and the lobster dress. The influence of art in Schiaparelli's designs could be seen in every detail, each garment a unique, visionary masterpiece that defied convention and pushed fashion into bold, uncharted territory. In 1934, Elsa Schiaparelli made history by becoming the first female fashion designer to appear on the cover of Time magazine. This milestone marked a pivotal moment in her career, honoring her fearless innovation and bold vision that redefined the world of fashion. The Time cover cemented her status as a design icon, recognizing her powerful role in shaping trends and challenging the norms of her time. With her daring and imaginative style, Elsa Schiaparelli left an unforgettable mark on fashion history. Elsa Schiaparelli revolutionized the fashion world not only through her bold and visionary style, but also with the invention of shocking pink. Described as vibrant, impossible, brazen, and life-giving, shocking pink burst onto the scene in 1937 with her perfume, Shocking de Schiaparelli. The packaging was unforgettable. A vivid pink box containing a bottle designed by sculptor Leonore Fini, shaped after Mae West's curves and adorned with porcelain flowers and a velvet measuring tape. The following year, in her Cosmic Winter collection, Shocking Pink took center stage again with the Phoebus cape, designed by painter Christian Berard, featuring a golden, beaded, embroidered sun. Elsa once said, "I gave pink the power of red, and it became unreal." Elsa Schiaparelli was the eternal rival of Coco Chanel. They shared a rebellious, nonconformist spirit, though their visions of fashion couldn't have been more different. While Chanel embraced clean, minimalist lines, Schiaparelli countered with sculpted silhouettes and bold shoulders that accentuated the waist. She was the first to design the culotte skirt and to use zippers as a stylish, visible detail. Elsa Schiaparelli once said, "A dress is not just fabric. A dress is a thought." During the Second World War, Elsa Schiaparelli found herself facing immense challenges. Fashion, like the rest of the world, was struck hard by the conflict. But Elsa did not give up. She made the bold decision to move to New York, where she continued her work with relentless determination. Far from the European front, she used her influence to support humanitarian causes, while never letting go of the spark that made her unique. Even in the darkest times, Elsa Schiaparelli's creativity didn't fade. She once said, "In times of crisis, fashion is always outrageous." And with that spirit, she kept daring, dreaming, and designing. After the war, Elsa Schiaparelli returned to Paris and faced one of the most difficult chapters of her life. Her once revolutionary ideas, which had dazzled the world, now felt out of place in a society craving stability and normalcy. The war had changed everything, especially the wealthy clientele who once embraced her daring designs. She reflected, "I tried to make women look sleek and elegant so they could face this new way of life, but I didn't realize right away that the elegance of the pre-war years had vanished." Despite her relentless efforts to revive her Paris atelier, her final collection struggled to find an audience. Christian Dior's new look had taken center stage, and with mounting financial pressures, Elsa Schiaparelli made the heartbreaking decision to close her atelier in 1954. In an effort to rediscover herself, Elsa Schiaparelli retreats to Tunis for a time. This self-imposed exile becomes a moment of deep introspection, but also one of creativity. Even far from the Parisian spotlight, she never stops sketching, never stops innovating. One of the most fascinating anecdotes from Elsa Schiaparelli's career is tied to her invention of the modern fashion show. She completely reimagined the runway, turning each presentation into a full-blown spectacle, complete with music, themes, and celebrity guests. In essence, she transformed fashion shows into theatrical performances. Though she loved creating one-of-a-kind pieces, Elsa firmly believed that prêt-à-porter and large-scale production were the future of fashion. Every one of her collections had a clear theme, with garments that were stylistically connected. The runway became an artistic and musical presentation of the new line, featuring tall, slender models striding down the catwalk. Elsa Schiaparelli passed away on November 13, 1973, in Paris, leaving behind an indelible mark on the world of fashion. Her funeral was held in the French capital, the city where she had spent most of her groundbreaking career. Figures from the worlds of fashion, art, and culture gathered to honor this extraordinary woman, whose boundless creativity and innovative spirit forever changed how the world viewed women's clothing. The ceremony became a moment of deep reflection on her bold life and incredible legacy, celebrating a true legend whose influence can still be felt today. The story of Elsa Schiaparelli is an epic of innovation, boldness, and creativity, a journey through the world of fashion, filled with unexpected turns and visionary moments, destined to keep inspiring future generations. With that, we close the chapter on the extraordinary life of Elsa Schiaparelli. We hope you enjoyed this journey into the heart and soul of one of fashion's true giants. Thank you for joining us here on Quotes of Style. And don't forget to stay tuned for more stories about the icons who left an unforgettable mark on the world through their style and singular vision. Thank you, Dot, and I'll see you in the next story.